acknowledgement of March 21st. March 21st is the International Day for the Elimination of Racial Discrimination, and it came about because of the death of 69 peaceful protesters who were shot while demonstrating against apartheid in Sharpeville, South Africa on March 21st, 1960. For the last 8 years, we've been coming together as a group, a collective, headed by the Nova Scotia Mass Choir, the African Nova Scotia Music Association, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, and the Black Cultural Centre, to host an event that brings us all together to acknowledge that day and the significance of March 21st. This year we've been joined by a new group, the Southeastern Community Health Board, so we welcome them to this pairing as well as one of the partners. This year's event is a cross-cultural celebration. So you've just listened to the soulful sounds of the Nova Scotia Mass Choir. You're also going to be treated with some Mi'kmaq drumming and some Lebanese dancers as well. First of all, what I'd like to do is to welcome to the stage our youngest performer this evening. 13-year-old Shatara Brooks Smith is a grade 7 student from Caledonia High. She's only had one performance under her belt thus far. This past Christmas at the Case Christmas Kwanzaa event, she performed one of her pieces, which she'll perform for you here tonight as well, and she blew everybody away with her enthusiasm. And so we knew that in hosting this event this year, we wanted to make sure that we were going to, we wanted to have a youthful element to it. She's a little nervous, so I want you guys to put your hands together and give her a nice warm welcome.
We hear about Dr. Martin Luther King, Viola Desmond, and Harriet Tubman. I know there is so much more than this. So I have taken it upon myself to learn as much as I can on my own. Some of the things I have learned are very sad, like how my ancestors were captured, made into slaves, and traded. There are so many things that I have learned that make me very angry. Did you know that Hamilton Mackie, a self-taught surgeon from South Africa, assisted in the world's first human heart transplant in 1967? This is a fact that makes me very proud. What makes me angry is that at that time, South Africa's law forbade blacks from performing surgery on whites, and a black person was not even allowed to touch a white person's blood. So Hamilton Mackie's contribution was kept a secret for 3 decades, and credit was given to someone else while Mackie was presented as a custodian. There are lots of things that I have learned, and as a black person, I have so much to be proud of. Did you know that in hockey, the slap shot was invented in Halifax by a black man named Eddie Martin, who played in the College Hockey League? Did you even know we had a black hockey league? Did you know that mathematics and the first writing and printing systems were invented in Egypt, and Egypt is in Africa? These are all things that I'm proud of, that I learned on my own, things they don't teach us in school. I have also learned that there are lots of things white people are famous for and they have taken from black people. Black music is only popular when white people do it. Eminem is famous around the world for being a rapper, but when it was Tupac, that music was only for black people. Black people have natural rhythm, and you know we can sing without auto-tunes, yet Elvis Presley is known as one of the most famous singers of his time. What he is really famous for is stealing and getting rich imitating black people's music, and he wasn't the only one. For years we have been robbed of our culture and told we are no better than monkeys. 3 years ago, I had a chance to participate in an Afro-centric camp put on in my community. We used the principles of Kwanzaa as a guiding focus for the program. The one principle that sticks out to me is Imani, which focuses on honoring the best of our traditions, draws upon the best in ourselves, and helps us strive for a higher level of our humankind. by affirming our self-worth and confidence in our ability to succeed and triumph in righteous struggle. This is what I want for myself and my members of my community. Yes, we are all different. We may not have the same skin color. We don't all talk the same. We don't have the same religions. We don't. But just because we are different does not mean we are not equal. People can be different and still be equal, just like a layman is equal to $1 and 4/4 is 2. They are both different but still equal. Just because a man is rich and the other is poor does not mean the rich man deserves more or is better. Just because a person is black does not make them a bad person. Any person of any race is capable of doing the same things, bad or good. It's just that a lot of media points out black people as bad and white people as better. I don't think about it in that way. I just think about how we are all equal. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
So a few of the performers tonight are kind of borrowed from other events that we've been at over the last 6 months or so. And next up is going to be a father and son team, Jeff and Uni Ward. And this past January, to kick off Black History Month, we were at the gala in Cape Breton in Sydney. And Jeff and Uni, along with Wayne Hamilton and his son Khalifa, were the ones that started the show off with the father and son drumming. Wayne and Khalifa are not able to be here with us this evening, but Jeff and Oni have traveled up from Membertou to perform. They're a very proud father and son team who continue their Mi'kmaq tradition in ceremony, song, and dance. They're honored to share with you tonight a little bit of their heritage as they perform this evening the Rabbit Song.
Hey, Oh. Just wanted to say a few words in that song, and I'll say more later, but that song is a rabbit song. It's a very strong song. It's a song about healing. And it's very important that we share that song. And it's a very spiritual song. And I believe that's what not only does our planet need healing, but we and our spirits need healing too. So that's what that song was about, is that healing. And my son, as he danced, and as it was a slow beat, he was a strong warrior, proud of his culture, proud of who he was, who he is. And his head up was high, dancing. And then the song got faster and faster. And he got down and he was going around and looked like he was looking for quarters on the ground. Looking for little, you know. But that's like life. Because sometimes life gets hard and you gotta get down. You gotta dance harder. And that was the teaching that we wanted to show. And then when the song went high again, he was very proud of our culture and our heritage. And then of course when it got fast again, it got tough again. Just like life. And we went through it. So we wanted to share that, and share that song, and share that with everybody here today. Love it, thank you. Love it.
You're going to hear from Jeff a little later on as well, because he is our guest speaker for this evening as well. At this time, before I introduce our next instrumental presentation, I'm going to call to the podium our newest member to the committee, Anna Jacobs, from Eastern Community Health Board, just to say a few words.
Thanks very much. The Southeastern Community Health Board is very pleased to be a partner in the event this evening. For the past 5 years, we've organized our own event to mark the 21st of March, but this year we decided why duplicate our efforts when we can partner with other organizations that are organizing a similar event. And obviously working together, we can produce a great show. So we're very happy to be a part of it this evening. The Southeastern Community Health Board includes the communities of and has volunteers from communities of Eastern Passage, Cole Harbour, Cherbourg, Lake Loon, North Preston, East Preston, Lawrencetown, and Mineville. And together, the board works on initiatives to address the causes of poor health. And we know that racism creates barriers for racialized communities in accessing services and programs. And so the board advocates for locally cultural specific programs and is a part of events like this evening. After 11 long years and fabulous years of working with the Southeastern Community Health Board as coordinator, I'm leaving the position and the new coordinator will be Minnie Mullins-Roberts. But I'm happy to say that I will be moving on to a position within the Nova Scotia Health Authority as Community Health Coordinator for marginalized communities and hope to be involved in events like this as well. So thanks again.
Thank you, Anna. Our next performer is Leslie Anderson. Born in Cincinnati, Ohio, she's been here in Halifax now for 8 years. She has said she started playing instruments, various instruments, at a very young age. Tonight she's going to perform on the flute and do some folklore music for us. Please welcome Leslie Anderson.
Before I get started tonight, I just wanted to say a few words about the flutes I'll be playing so that you know what you're listening to. The first flute I'll be playing is a Native American duck flute. It has the name duck flute because of its bill-like shape. This flute has been played by native tribes in North America for hundreds of years. They're usually made of cedar. This one's made of red cedar and was made by the Cherokee tribe. This flute is the Egyptian ney. It's been modified. Usually neys are played straight through like this. This one's been modified so to blow across. This flute would be played in most North African or Middle Eastern music. It's made of bamboo. This is a Chinese bird flute. It's named a bird flute because you're supposed to sound like a bird when you're playing it. This is also made of bamboo. And this is a Baroque flute. It's called a Baroque flute because this flute was actually made in 1785 in London, and that was the Baroque era. This flute is made of box ivory. And then I have just your regular orchestral flute back there. The reason I wanted to play all these different flutes tonight is because the concert is in the spirit of the elimination of racism. And I thought what better way to eliminate racism than to increase our awareness and understanding of each other's cultures. And the best way to do that is through music. So the next song we'll be doing will be Amazing Grace. You'll all recognize that. I'm going to start it on this flute and then switch. Let's see if I can do this. See how quick I can do it. Just an G. That's what happens when your flute's from 1785. Make sure the keys are all closed first. Antiques. Okay, we're good now.
Thus far, it's been a very, very special night. To tell you a little bit about tonight, 8 years ago, the Nova Scotia Mass Choir were looking at wanting to do something to acknowledge the International Day for the Elimination of Racism. And it was through their efforts that they approached the African Nova Scotia Music Association and then the Royal Canadian Mounted Police to hold an event that would just do that, a gospel concert. Since that time, we have performed in a bunch of different places. This is about our third year, I think, now in the Black Cultural Center, but we've been on the road. We've done this concert in Amherst. We've done it next door in New Beginnings. We've done it out at Emmanuel Baptist Church as well. And it kind of keeps growing and growing as I look around the room and see the amount of people. It keeps growing each year. But it's only going to grow through the efforts of everybody in here telling somebody else next year that this concert will be happening. Hopefully we won't have to, this year, of course, we were going to have it on March 21st, but the weather just didn't work with us, and so therefore that's why we're here tonight. Maybe that's a good thing, because it's a nice night out, and it lends itself to having people be able to get out here to see it. So we might even want to look at next year even doing something like that as well. But for it to grow, we need to have you tell the next person and the next person and the next person. We're about halfway through right now, and I can't think of any other event that you could go to in this city, probably in this country, for $5 and get the entertainment that you've gotten thus far this evening. So it started out as a fundraiser for both of those organizations, but as you can see by the cost of the ticket, it's not about making a whole lot of money, it's about showing people the wonderful talent that we have, and by being able to bring people together from all different walks of life, all different cultures, so that we can share in that one common goal of eradicating racism. And so at this time, what I would like to do is welcome to the stage our guest speaker for this evening, Mr. Jeff Ward, who is currently the General Manager of the Member 2 Heritage Park, and he is also, as I learned this evening, a first aid instructor and a disaster supervisor with the Red Cross in Sydney. He is also a former RCMP officer as well. Volunteers for numerous local boards and committees, provides public awareness presentations on Native history, culture, and spirituality. And so would you please welcome to the podium, Jeff Ward.
Turn that around. Midolokyo. Hello is a Jeffrey word. Hey! What did it feel? Is a Jeffrey word. It's today when Berbinagia, Kisnadavi, and Mama to the Niggy. Walalio, Nida, Mr. Smith, Kisna, Walalio, Pukto. Kisna Wilgis. In my language, I just said hi. Bonjour, comment ça va? Bonjour tout le monde. Bon English. That's all I know, sorry. How's she going, vibes? Anybody here from New Waterford? Who's your father, bye? Got you covered. I just came from Newfoundland too. I was had the honor to give out the award for Album of the Year. It was just amazing, and the Aboriginal Performer of the Year too as well. So, and next year I think I'm going to get nominated for Best Dressed Presenter. That's the word I heard so far. So it's a true honor. And like I said to Mi'kmaq earlier, I'm very honored. My friend, Manita, Mr. Smith, invited me here. It's a true honor to share culture and share songs. And also, somebody could keep a timer for me and give me a little heads up when it's 10 minutes because we forgot our cell phones in there and we came out and my son was supposed to time me, but just let me know when it's about 8 minutes. As in my introductory, I've had every job in my community except for bus driver, elected council chief, and cook. Those are the 3 jobs I've never done. I've had a lot of jobs in my career, and it's a true honor to finally find the job I love, which is the general manager of the No. 2 Heritage Park. Because it gives me an opportunity to teach and to share. And that common thread I had through all my life was being Indian, being Mi'kmaq, being who I am. And it's an honor for me to share. Now, not only am I general manager at the Heritage Park, but I also do tours. I'm the first one to jump in and be a tour guide. And I love doing that. So, especially when I have a big group like this, as you all that are here now. And when I have especially either cruise ship people or whoever it may be, I'll ask the first question when I have a group like this, how many people here have a summer cottage? So raise your hand. How many people here have a summer cottage? Excellent. How many people have a camper trailer? I put my hand, I just bought one, 44. Oh my God, it's huge, right? Bigger than my TV. How many people here go camping? That's everybody. Well, it's good to see all you nomadic people here today. Nomadic? I just called you all nomadic. Can you imagine that? You're all nomadic. But you're not? Well, neither were we as Mi'kmaq people. We had a summer home, winter home. Summer home, winter home. We invented that whole concept. We were never nomadic. If you actually look up in the dictionary, the antonym to nomadic, the opposite meaning, if you didn't know what antonym means, but the opposite meaning of nomadic is actually 2 words, settled and native. That's us. So that's one way that we like to break down the barriers. Get you thinking. We invented many great things as Mi'kmaq people. Popcorn, you're welcome. Maple syrup, you're welcome again. All that email and texting, we invented that. It's called smoke signals. You guys finally caught on. That great Canadian sport, hockey, that's us. That came from us. That's a Mi'kmaq sport. We have the legends that talk about it. I could go on and on and on. There's a lot of great, amazing inventions that we already have, that we're already here. People are unaware of that. So once you got to think about it, wow. So, not that long ago, I was in a ceremony with my elder, Janie Meter, the elder back there knows what I'm talking about, is me and Janie were doing a ceremony, and we had a big group in it. And she looked around and she asked this question, which was really amazing, and I'm glad she asked it. She asked the group, what is the opposite of love? So I ask you guys, think about it. What is the opposite of love? You guys thinking about it? I see some of you guys mouthing it going. Well, actually, the opposite of love is fear. It really is fear. The opposite of love is fear. Think about that. And when we talk about racism, elimination, racism, and what's another word for racism? It's fear, too, as well. People fear. They fear the unknown. They fear about other people. They fear of other cultures. Some people here are scared of the dark. Raise your hand if you're scared of the dark. I really just watch the news at night until it goes on. Like, I put the TV on. I'm not really scared of the dark. But a lot of people have great fears. How many people are, financially you fear? Worries, fear. How many people fear being alone? That's a big fear. I know I do. So, another thing I want to pass on a message from my elder, because I have 3 uncles, 4 or 5 uncles, and I usually tell people who I am. Jeffrey Ward from Monongahela, from Red Bank First Nation community. My uncle is George Paul, the Paul family. George Paul, Cully Paul, Joey Paul. My mom's Yvonne Paul. And we come from a family of pipe carriers, traditional people. I'm also a sun dancer too, as well. So not only am I a tour guide, but I'm a traditional person too, and I live the way. I have a sweat lodge behind my house, and I conduct the ceremonies. So it's important to introduce who I am and my teachings and where they come from. Now, growing up at a very young age, about 8 years old, I started attending ceremonies. Very young, I was dancing in my regalia, just like Mooney was dancing with me at a very young age. And I was immersed, I was being Indian when it wasn't cool to be Indian. Didn't realize it. But I was learning who I was, and instilled the songs that were so important to me. And of course, being the young one and the nephew, helping my uncles who were pipe carriers, traditional people, I was the person that always asked the questions. What's this? What's that? How come we're rocks? Rocks, grandfathers. Why are you called grandfather? What's with this? What's that? What's that? And just asking all the questions. And then my uncle came to me one day, because I was asking him all kinds of questions. He said, you know what? He said, you see those rocks in the circle? I said, yeah. And then he made these 4 directions in the circle. He said, everything, he said, I'm going to pass on a message. He said, everything, and the elder once told me this, he said, an elder passed on to me, everything you need to learn is right here. And then, if you see that, it's a medicine wheel. He said, everything you need to learn in life is right here. And I looked at him. I said, wow. Everything? He said, yeah. There's the 4 directions. East, south, west, north. I said, oh. He said, and those 4 directions are 4 colors of people. I said, really? Yeah. He said, there's the black, there's the white, there's the red, and there's the yellow. We're all there. I put green in there because I want aliens to feel welcome too. It's important. They're here. Just saying. I'll be talking about that later. But everything is here. We're made up. We cannot exist without 4 elements. Fire, air, water, Mother Earth. Did I say that? Yeah. Fire, air, Mother Earth. We can't exist without it. You take one away, we're gone. You can't exist. Us physically, we're broken up into 4 areas: mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical. Without those 4 elements, you cannot exist. And if you're not happy right now, it's because you're unbalanced in one of those areas. It's so important to share your emotions. I talk to kids all the time. I say, how many kids, when I do talks with the schools, I said, how many told their parents you love them this morning? They all raised their hand. I said, how many told their brothers and sisters that you hate them this morning? They all raised their hand. But that's emotion. You have to share it. You can't bottle it up. Physically, you have to do something physically. Take after your body. Mentally, you got to use it or you'll lose it. That's what they say. And spiritually, you have to believe, you have to have faith. No matter what your faith is, Christianity, Pentecostal, whatever it may be. Even if it's nothing. I was doing a talk in New Waterford one day, one little boy raised his hands. He said, I don't believe in nothing. Honest to God, I don't believe in nothing. I said, yes you do. Honest to God, you do. If you don't. So, it's important to have that balance. It creates that happiness. And it creates healing. It's that healing. It's so important. It creates healing. Now, I had a big story on healing. I wrote down here and I forgot it. But what I wanted to share was that song and that dance that me and my son, when we came in here. We shared our regalia. This regalia is only about 1/3 of, I have head bustle, I have other parts to this. I forgot my choker for but there's more to this. And it's an honor for me to share, but I've earned every piece of it. And it tells a big story. It tells a story of who I am, where I'm from. Each piece I earned. How I got married traditionally. You know, I came in on a horse. It's cool. True story. And the feast was amazing. And I went back and I did that. I hunted. I got the moose, got the salmon. You know, I had the elders that were there for my wedding and the big wigwam. And it was the spiritual part that happened beforehand. So it's through that when I talk about healing myself, and when it came to facing the racism that are out there, because I faced it. I mean, we could share stories before we faced it. Life is too short. Life is too short. That's why I am where I am today. Because life is too short. But at the same time, I wanted to give back. And when I did leave the force, I became a band manager. Wanted to help there. And then I went into run a crisis center in Eskasoni, where I wanted to give back and help people that needed healing, that were suicidal at the time. And then finally gave it to the creator and I said, put me where do you want me? And I'm at the Heritage Park in Membertou. And I'd love to have this event in Membertou. Hint, hint, wink, wink. In the Membertou Heritage Park. And I'd like to invite everybody here. If you haven't been to the Membertou Heritage Park or Membertou, it's an amazing place. It's an amazing place. So, I want to end off with this one thing. We're at a minute now. When I say my song, that beautiful song, I say, I was going to sing another song, but speak too long. And he said 8 minutes. I'm like, oh, first he said, I want you to come sing. I said, yeah, I'll be there. And then he goes, I want you to talk. I said, yeah, I'll talk. And then he said, 8 minutes. I'm like, really? Man, you better have good food later on. Anyway, we'll talk later. But yeah, it's an honor to share our songs and to be here. And when we sing those songs, it's from our heart. That song I sung is an ancient song, and that pipe, I mean that flute. When you said it's like hundreds of years old, the other performer, it's actually thousands and thousands and thousands of years old. People don't understand that. We were here from the beginning. We have a creation story. We're created on this land. I know people have a theory we came over the Bering Strait, and that's taught in their history books. Oh, history. His story, not ours. But, you know, it's important because we come from this land. And our legends are amazing because archaeologists and our legends are coming true. There are legends that talk about giant beavers, and guess what? They're finding remains of giant beavers. Unreal. One last thing before I go. After a song, we say Tahoe. I want to teach you your first Mi'kmaq word, Tahoe. So when you hear that song, you raise your left arm because it's connected to your heart. That's why your wedding ring, you wear it right there, because it's connected to your heart. Plus, when it zaps you, just no. Yours doesn't zap? No? Did you get that one? Oh, okay. Well, anyway, so we raise our left arm and we go Tahoe. So let's do that. Oh, everybody. 1, 2, 3. Tahoe. 1, 2, 3. Tahoe. 1, 2, 3. Tahoe. All right. That means it's kind of like saying hallelujah. Yeehaw. I don't know what they say in Waterford, sorry. Yes, bye? Yes, bye. Tahoe. All right, so, that's your first Mi'kmaq word. I'll teach you a second one real quick before I leave, because I know it's that time talking about my grandmother, my aunts, and my sillies. I'll look at you. You take your right hand on the count of 3. Everybody, 1, 2, 3. Bingo! 4 nights a week, member to Entertainment Center, 20,000 must go. You must come up for it one of these nights. Hello,
Now, we are going to be treated, as we talk about cross-cultural, we are going from the Mi'kmaq down to Lebanese, with the Cedar Festival dancers. They've been dancing together for 5 years. They've danced across Atlantic Canada at many festivals, weddings, and community events. They do traditional Lebanese folkloric dance. Please welcome to the stage the Cedar Festival dancers.
say, I love my traditional regalia because you'll never forget a 6-foot Indian leathers and feathers. He's also dances another style, and this is more common in the powwow circuit or the powwow. And by the way, I'd like to welcome everybody and to invite everybody. The next time you hear the word powwow or gathering, you're all welcome. Because these ceremonies, like I said, are based on medicine wheel teachings. Everybody's included. So whenever you see a powwow, you go right there. You go there. And or bingo too. You go right there, you know. Think of it as bingo. So he's going to demonstrate his style of powwow dancing, and it's called a grass dance. So picture, these would be the young warriors, the young scouts, and they would be the first ones out, and they would pat down the grass in a different area. And these were the scouts that we would send ahead. So if we're going hunting, they know where the buffalo were. Or if we're going to Walmart, they know if it's open and where we can park. So these are our young scouts. Yeah, we gotta remember that word I taught you earlier. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. What was the other one? Right on. Once again, we'll all yell thank you.
Before we bring on the Nova Scotia Mass Choir to bring the event to a close, I want to thank you all for coming out, for making this a special evening. And as I said, make sure that when you go home, you tell somebody else about what you saw here tonight, so that next year we have even more folks here. I want to thank the organizing committee for their work in helping to put this together. And now I'd like to welcome back to the stage to close the event, the award-winning Nova Scotia Mass Choir. We've been together over 20 years, and we have had many accolades through the years. The most recent, last December 10, 2014, they were the recipients of the Nova Scotia Human Rights Award for their efforts to support and promote racial harmony through events just like this. The Nova Scotia Mass Choir.
right, guys? How you doing? You guys enjoy yourselves? Beautiful. My name is Owen Lee. I'm the new director of the Nova Scotia Mass Choir. I just wanted to say right quick, one thing I love seeing is unity amongst cultures, amongst different backgrounds, amongst different cultural places. You know, us as Christians, in our Bible it says that how sweet and pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. So it's just beautiful to see after centuries of things that have happened in our history, we can stand together today to celebrate together, to appreciate one another's culture. And it's a beautiful thing, honestly. So I really appreciate it tonight. I know we all appreciate it tonight. So we're gonna be closing, singing a couple more songs for you guys. It's gonna start off slow, but I just wanna give the disclosure from now. If you feel like clapping, clap. If you feel like standing up, stand up. There's no rules when it comes to gospel choirs. If it feels good, do it. All right? This song is called He's Able. Exceedingly, abundantly, above all you could ask of me, according to the power that worketh in you. Don't give up on God, 'cause He won't give up on you. Don't give up on God, 'cause He won't give up on you. Yeah. Don't give up on God, 'cause He won't give up on you. 'Cause He's able.
Jesus paid, down free from sin, 'cause I know that